The Resilience Across Borders podcast is intended for education, support, and inspiration. I am not a psychologist or a medical doctor and do not offer any professional, medical, or health advice. If you are dealing with or suffering from any psychological or medical conditions, please seek help from a qualified health professional. Hello and welcome back to Resilience Across Borders podcast. I'm your host, Rashid Zahidi, and the author of the Emo Gym Journal, which is an abbreviation for emotional gym, but most importantly, it's a guide and workbook for emotional awareness and to get clear and stay focused on the priorities and institute better habits. In today's episode, we'll talk about the daily habits of emotionally resilient people. In other words, emotional fitness, the daily practices that change everything, and how to become more resilient than most. So, what if resilience isn't something you are born with? What if it's not grit, toughness, or simply pushing through pain? What if resilience is actually built through small daily habits that most people overlook? So recently I came across an article discussing happiness research and the habits of emotionally resilient people. As I read through it, I realized something important. Nearly every habit associated with happiness is also associated with resilience. The people who recover fastest from setbacks aren't necessarily the strongest. They are the people who have built emotional fitness before life tests them. So today, let's explore 9 daily habits that can help you become more resilient, more adaptable, and ultimately more capable of thriving through whatever life throws your way. So, number one is to practice presence instead of constant reactivity. So, it's the ability to notice what's happening without immediately reacting to it. Resilient people create space between stimulus and response or stimulus and reaction. So, for instance, someone criticizes you, a reactive response would be to defend or to attack or to withdraw. But resilient response would be like pause, observe, and respond intentionally. This is emotional strength in action. Habit number two, protect your sleep like your life depends on it, and it does. Many people treat sleep as optional. Now, neuroscience increasingly shows sleep is one of the most important resilience tools available. Poor sleep increases emotional reactivity and reduces emotional regulation. Quality sleep helps the brain process stress and recover from challenges. So you cannot build resilience on an exhausted nervous system. So what would happen if you treated sleep as a performance enhancer rather than an inconvenience? Just think about that. Plus, sleep feels good. Number three, choose your inner circle carefully. Research consistently points to relationships as one of the strongest predictors of well being and resilience. Strong interpersonal connections help people recover from adversity and maintain emotional health. So, your environment shapes your emotional state. Think to yourself, who drains your energy? Or who expands your thinking? Who reminds you of your strengths when you've forgotten them even yourself? So this would be a great place to think in all kinds of contexts, whatever that may be, and then just look at the situation and think, okay, does it bring me energy or does it drain it? So number four, don't underestimate the power of laughter. Resilient people don't avoid seriousness, they avoid becoming consumed by seriousness. Laughter changes physiology. It interrupts stress loops. It reminds us that even difficult Seasons are not permanent. Sometimes resilience looks less like fighting and more like remembering how to smile. Habit number 5, live with purpose, not just productivity. Many people are busy, few are purposeful. Purpose provides meaning during hardships. When people know why they are doing something, they can tolerate much more discomfort. That why pushes you through. Ask yourself, are you chasing goals because they matter to you or because someone else convinced you they should matter? Habit number 6, journal to process, not to suppress. This is why I believe in journaling, and this is why I love journaling because it forces us to unplug, get away from all the typical stuff, not to get sucked into the other people's whims or other people yanking at your chain. Is that you pick up a pen and paper and you go somewhere, and it's like emotional weightlifting. And that's why I designed Emojim for myself and for people like me who want to take that time to process emotions, priorities straight, align them with the values, and so on. So instead of carrying emotional clutter inside your mind, you move it into or onto paper. And research also suggests expressive writing can improve emotional regulation, it can reduce stress, and it can increase self awareness. Just as we train our bodies at a gym, we can train our emotional muscles through consistent reflection. Emotional awareness makes a huge difference, and quality of emotions determines quality of life. So, habit number 7, stop being your own bully. One of the strongest predictors of resilience is self compassion. Many people think harsh self criticism creates growth. In reality, it often creates shame. Resilient people learn from mistakes without turning themselves into the enemy. So, something to reflect on. Would you speak to someone you care about or to a close friend the way you speak to yourself? Anytime you catch yourself speaking to yourself like in a mean way, stop and ask, would you do this to someone you really care about? So, habit number 8, care for the body that carries you through life, that vessel, that we are in. Mind and body are inseparable. So think movement, think nutrition, think hydration, think breathing. These are not wellness trends, they are resilience tools. So again, it's important to practice emotional fitness, but also physical fitness and taking care of the body, mind, soul, and spirit. So most people wait until they're struggling emotionally before taking care of themselves. And of course, that would be too late for most times. So resilient people build reserves before they are needed. Okay, the best time to fix the roof is in when it's not raining, right? So habit number 9, feed your spirit. Not necessarily like religion, not necessarily spirituality, although that's fine if that's what does it for you, but connection to purpose, connection to the universe, connection to meaning, connection to something larger than your current problems. Most people, when life becomes difficult, they often ask, why is this happening to me? Resilient people eventually shift toward, what can this experience teach me? That perspective switch changes everything. So many of us spend our lives crossing physical borders, countries, careers, relationships, seasons of life, but the hardest borders are often internal. The border between fear and courage, the border between pain and growth, between survival and thriving, who you were and who you are becoming. Resilience is the ability to keep crossing with these borders with courage, with presence. So, resilience isn't built in one heroic moment, it's built in a thousand ordinary moments. It's built when you choose sleep over burnout, when you choose self-compassion over self-criticism, when you choose connection over isolation, when you choose purpose over distraction, the strongest people aren't the ones who never fall. They are the ones who practice getting back up every day. And that's good news because resilience isn't reserved for a lucky few. It's available to all of us. One habit, one choice, one day at a time. So, as always, thank you for tuning into the Resilience Across Borders podcast. You're enjoying the podcast, please review it, please rate it, please follow. And that's how you get to see more of this and then more content similar to it, because that's how the algorithms work. You kind of got to train them to show you stuff that is useful to you instead of mindless scrolling. So, not judging here, just saying. You can follow, anyways, the blog posts. They are at resilience.com, ATRESILIENCE.com. Remember to be kind to yourself and be kind to others and stay resilient.